Hey there, trail trekkers and tall tale seekers. You're tuned in to the 406 Life, the podcast where Montana Max, your Bigfoot buddy and outlaw gear mascot, yeah, that's me, leads you through the wild, weird, and wonderful corners of Montana. Each week we share stories, legends, and laughs from the last best place. So grab your boots and sense of adventure, because we're about to make some Montana-sized memories. This episode's powered by Outlaw Gear, where rebels get their style. Want to look legendary? Mosey over to I'mAnOutlaw.com and claim your outlaw status. Well, you showed up. I appreciate that. Truly. Most things I wait on eventually wander off. Hikers, weather systems, my general faith in human decision-making. But you're here, and that means something. I'm Montana Max. This is the 406 Life podcast, where I tell you what's happening in this state, and you pretend you knew it already. Now, before we get into it, if you've been listening for a while and you haven't left a review yet, I'm going to need you to go do that. Not for me. I don't have feelings the way you do, but apparently the algorithm requires it, and the algorithm is the one thing in this world even I can't outrun. So, 5 stars, a few kind words. Tell them a large bipedal creature sent you. And if you know somebody who loves Montana, or somebody who's thinking about coming out here and could use some honest advice before they pack the wrong boots, share this episode with them. It's the neighborly thing to do. All right. Let's talk about spring. Now, before I get into the big picture, I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention what's happening right this minute. It's raining. Has been for a few days now. And these rivers that I'm about to tell you were running early and clearing up nice. Some of them are running hard again. Flood watches in places. The kind of water that doesn't care how experienced you are or how good your wading boots are. So if you're headed out to the water this week, check conditions before you go. Montana 511 for roads, your local FWP reports for river levels. Don't trust last week's information. Out here, 3 days of rain can change everything. All right, now let's back up and talk about how we got here. Centuries of wandering these mountains will do that to a fella. You stop being surprised by much. A blizzard in May? Fine. A 70-degree day in February? Sure, whatever. Lightning that splits a ponderosa pine clean in half? Barely worth turning around for. But this spring gave even me pause. And I want to talk about it. Because if you're planning to spend any time in Montana between now and July, or if you're just trying to understand why the river's already low or why your favorite trail looks like the bottom of a soup pot, you need to hear this. So, pull up a log, get comfortable. This is my Spring 2026 field report. Let's start with the winter, because you can't understand this spring without understanding what came before it. Short version, it was warm. Warmer than it should have been. Warmer than this state has business being in January and February. Libby recorded its warmest winter on record. Great Falls hit 71 degrees on February 5th. 71. In February. I was comfortable that day, and I don't exactly run cold. I've got about 4 inches of natural insulation and a fur coat that'd make a grizzly jealous. But even I noticed. Now here's the thing about a warm winter in Montana. It's not just uncomfortable. It changes everything downstream, literally. All that precipitation that should have stacked up as mountain snowpack. It fell as rain instead. And rain don't sit on a hillside waiting for June. It runs off, or it evaporates. Either way, it's gone. By April 1st, 41 snow monitoring stations across the state had already melted out completely. Earliest dates on record for most of them. And by early April, 57% of Montana was sitting in drought conditions, D1 through D3. 6th year in a row of abnormal dryness. 6 years. Now, I've watched a lot of dry spells in my time, but 6 consecutive years of this, that's not a bad stretch. That's a new pattern. And this spring showed every sign of it. So what does all that mean on the ground? Mud. Glorious, miserable, relentless, boot-stealing mud. When snowpack melts a month early, it has to go somewhere. And before the ground can absorb it, it just sits. On the trails, on the forest roads, on the lower half of anything with 4 wheels that was dumb enough to venture out before late June. I watched a truck try a Forest Service road out near the Swan Valley in early April. Didn't end well. The driver had good intentions and all-season tires. Neither one was enough. If you're heading into backcountry this spring or anything on an unpaved road, you want high clearance, 4-wheel drive, and a genuine willingness to turn around. Call ahead. Check conditions. A trailhead that looked open online might have a tree across it the size of your living room. The mud season's not a rumor, it's a 5th season. And it bites. Ready for your next Montana home? Visit mostwantedrealestate.net, because that's how the West is sold. Now, the rivers. This is where things get interesting, and where the news is actually good if you move fast. See, normally Montana rivers peak in late May or early June. That big surge of cold snowmelt that makes everything fast and brown and unfishable for weeks. This year, that curve flattened out. The early melt spread the runoff over a longer window, and by Memorial Day weekend, most systems were already clearing. That is early. That is a gift. The Lower Madison? Highly productive through early June. The Upper Clark Fork running right around normal flows, which is basically a miracle in the current climate. The Gallatin was high and turbid in May, but by June she cleared up nice. 2 free fishing weekends to know about. Mother's Day weekend, no license required for anyone, resident or non-resident, on any public water in Montana. And Father's Day weekend, June 20th and 21st, same deal. Yellowstone opened select waters on May 1st. Park-wide season starts May 23rd. That's some of the earliest access on record. Now, I will say this, and I mean it sincerely. That early window is also a warning. Rivers that clear out fast in May run low and warm by July. The Jefferson system, Big Hole, Beaverhead, Lower Ruby, I'd skip those this season, they're hurting, and most rivers are going to hit hoot owl restrictions earlier than usual, meaning no fishing after 2 in the afternoon once temps climb. Fish early in the season, fish early in the day. And respect the closures when they come. Those fish are already working hard enough without us adding to it. Now, I mentioned at the top that we've had a run of heavy rain the last few days. So if you're listening to this fresh, some of those rivers I just described are running high again. That's Montana. She'll give you a window and then remind you who's in charge. Let's talk Glacier, because there are some changes up there that'll affect how your trip goes, and you want to know before you show up at Logan Pass with a car full of expectations. Good news first. Vehicle reservations are gone. That whole system they ran from 2021 through last year, done. You can enter any entrance, any time, no advance permit needed. That's a genuine improvement. Here's the trade. Logan Pass now has a strict 3-hour parking limit. You've got enough time to hike out to the Hidden Lake Overlook and back. That's about 3 miles. But you're not sitting up there all day. Plan your time and move. The Logan Pass Express Shuttle, the one for Highline Trail hikers, is now ticketed. You reserve it in advance through recreation.gov. $1 processing fee. Worth knowing before you build your whole day around catching it first come, first served. And if you're planning to bike or hike the Going to the Sun Road during the spring season before it opens to vehicles, beautiful experience, by the way. I've watched people come down off that road looking like they found religion. Just know there are no park shuttles running during that window. You're self-sufficient. Bring repair kits, food, water, and something warm for the descent. It gets cold up there fast. One more thing. Trail of the Cedars and Avalanche Lake are not on the shuttle route this year. Arrange your own transport or get there early. Need shipping, shredding, prints, or a real street address? Helena's locally owned and operated the UPS store has you covered, located at 2047 North Last Chance Gulch. Stop by and get it done right. All right, now I want to tell you about something that happens every spring up near Shoto that most people outside Montana have never even heard of. And it might be the most spectacular thing I've seen in all my years in this state. And I have seen a lot of years. Freeze-Out Lake Wildlife Management Area, 12,000 acres of prairie wetland between Fairfield and Shoto, right along Highway 89. Every spring, it becomes a layover for migrating waterfowl heading north from California's Central Valley up to their Arctic breeding grounds in Canada. This year, the first flocks confirmed on March 9th. By mid to late March, daily concentrations were hitting 45 to 52,000 birds. Total for the season, approximately 300,000 snow geese and Ross's geese, plus over 10,000 tundra swans. 300,000 birds. Now I've spent a lot of mornings alone in this state. Quiet mornings. The kind where you hear your own heartbeat. But I have stood on that flat prairie in March and watched the sky turn white. Not clouds, birds. And I will tell you honestly, it is one of the few things that has ever made me feel genuinely small. The sunrise blast-off is the moment. When those geese lift off the water all at once, sometimes 100,000 at a time, it sounds like a freight train mixed with a hurricane. The ground shakes just slightly. The air changes. If you want to see it, you need a Montana conservation license. $8 for residents, $10 for non-residents. And stay in your vehicle on the designated roads. Those birds need their energy for the journey north. Don't flush them for a closer photo. It's not worth it. Quick word on the wildlife closer to Yellowstone. Bison calving season started mid to late April. First red dog of the year, that's what they call the newborns. Red dogs, on account of that bright reddish-orange coat they're born with, was documented April 18th near Mammoth Hot Springs. Within a couple hours of birth, those calves are on their feet and keeping pace with the herd. 25 yards minimum distance from bison and elk. 100 yards from bears and wolves. A protective bison cow can hit 35 miles an hour. That gap closes faster than you think. Grizzlies are out of their dens and hungry. Bear spray. Carry it, know how to use it, and have it where you can reach it in 1 second, not clipped to the outside of your pack where you'll fumble for it. Last thing. For those of you who've had a long mud season week and you're looking for a reward, Hot Springs. Chico Hot Springs is closed for renovations through mid-May. I know, it hurts. But there are options. Norris Hot Springs up near Norris has a wooden-bottomed pool, chemical-free mineral water, an organic grill, and live acoustic music on a poolside stage. They call it the Water of the Gods. I'm not one for marketing language, but I'll allow it. Wild Horse Hot Springs up on the Flathead Reservation, one of the highest natural lithium content artesian waters in the world, flows right up from the ground. They call the source the Mother Dragon Geyser. That's just a good name for a hot spring. Bozeman Hot Springs, Quinn's over near Paradise, Yellowstone Hot Springs in Gardner, all open, all worth your time. After a week of mud season, you've earned it. So that's the spring of 2026, a warm winter that left us short on snowpack and long on mud, rivers that opened early and will close early, Glacier with new rules that, mostly, make things better, 300,000 geese on a prairie wetland that'll move you to silence, baby bison, hungry grizzlies, and hot springs to remind you why you live here. Montana didn't slow down this spring. If anything, it sped up. And if you want to keep up with it, you better pay attention. If you want the full breakdown, the river table, the glacier policy changes, the wildflower calendar, all of it, go read the blog post over at the406life.com. It's all there, formatted nice with sources at the bottom so you know I'm not making things up. I am many things. A fabricator is not one of them. And hey, if this episode was useful to you, go leave a review. I know I mentioned it at the top, but I'm mentioning it again because apparently once isn't enough for most people. I've watched tourists read trail signs 3 times and still go the wrong way. I understand the need for repetition. 5 stars, a couple sentences. It helps more folks find the show, and more folks finding the show means I keep doing this. And me keeping doing this means you get a centuries-old Bigfoot telling you which rivers to fish and which roads will swallow your truck whole. That's a fair trade. Share it with somebody who loves this state, or somebody who needs to. I'm Montana Max, this is the 406 Life. Now get out there. Got a Montana story, business, or unsolved mystery you want on the show? Head to the406life.com and drop me a line. No smoke signals required. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a stomp, stumble, or tall tale. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, heck, tell that guy who swears he saw me near Whitefish. I was just buying donuts, all right? Until next time, keep it outrageous, keep it kind, and keep living the 406 life. Montana Max, over and out.
That's the